is sponsored by Bath & Body Works Stress Relief Lotion and
San Pellegrino sparkling water.
and vegan marshmallows.
Oh hey, good to see you there. This is Chapter 27 Crash Course, and we're going to be focusing on Russia and Japan. The 1890s was a rough time for Russia. You see here, Russia had trouble... Okay, probably going to turn that off really quick. Russia had trouble keeping up with their expenses from both social unrest and the cost of industrialization. Along with that, the cost of weapons went up, which Russia's government thought would be a good idea to keep people's safety. Yo, girls here to buy some guns. What you got?
We got everything.
How much is that?
A lot.
How much is that?
A lot.
How much is that one?
Even more.
What about that?
A lot.
How much is it all?
Just give me all your money.
You know what? That sounds like a good idea. I'll take it all, sweet thing. I'll come back for it later.
Okay.
So, they proposed a disarmament for all European firearms because they didn't have any. Japan, on the other hand, gained their knowledge of the West when defeating a group of American sailors at a game of baseball in 1896.
Up to bat, we have America, represented by Sweat. And our pitcher, representing Japan, Simran.
Play ball.
Overall, both Russia and Japan had a late start into the industrialization era. Japan started to imitate off of China, as did Russia did to the Byzantine Empire and the West. Both societies turned out to have some similarities. They both strengthened their social and political systems, both improved political effectiveness through Tokugawa shogunate, which was Japan, and the Tsarist empires, which was Russia. And both finally understood that learning information from the West would not hurt their culture. Japan ended up pushing away from East Asia, while Russia continued to expand from influences from Eastern Europe and Central Asia. After getting settled down into the idea of industrialization, both Russia and Japan met, which caused a war. This war symbolized the growing importance of both societies in world affairs. It also promoted change and convinced Japanese leaders they were doing something right, as they slowly defeated Russia. Now it's time for the open letter. Dear Russia, thank you so much for giving us yogurt, the television, synthetic rubber, vodka, and caviar. Without you, we wouldn't have a chance to get lit. It's nice that you guys went through an industrialization period. It did a lot in your favor. Good job doing you. Love you lots. Simran, Ciara, and Swen.
Russian rulers starting from Catherine the Great wanted to protect Russia from the French Revolution. Western policies were no longer a model for Russia. They began to retreat back to isolation, focusing on improving bureaucratic training to fight off Napoleon, the Holy Alliance sponsored by Alexander I, which would combine defense of the region and establish order. However, the Holy Alliance had little impact on defense or establishing order. Intellectuals still liked certain aspects of Western life, such as political freedom, education, and scientific advancements, while others mainly focused on culture. The Decembrist uprising, which loyalist troops put down the insurgent regiment, led to the new Tsar, Nicholas I. Nicholas repressed his political opponents and preserved conservatism. Russia was able to prevent revolts with their approach unlike the West. Russia declared its hold over Poland during the Congress of Vienna. Russia also began to put pressure on the Ottoman Empire, which was supported by France and Britain. Russia continued to be a dynamic diplomat and a military force. The expansion of Russia didn't match what was going on internally. There was a decrease in trade due to increasing serf output, thus retreating back to an agricultural society. In the Crimean War, Russia was defending Christianity against the Ottoman Empire. France and Britain backed the Ottoman Empire and defeated Russia. Russia learns that the West has advanced weapons and logistics. After the war, Alexander II became Tsar and believed in sufficient economic adjustments for Russia, so Russia could keep up with the military advancements. However, through changes such as changing the reform, Russia did not achieve any of what they wished to. The emancipation of serfs gave serfs fertile holdings, slaves got nothing, and the aristocrats retained part of the land and power. Serfs were tied to the land until they could pay it off. The money went to the aristocrats, allowing them to maintain power. There was a large urban workforce, and many uprisings occurred due to the poor conditions. However, agricultural productions didn't increase because they had the same tools and methods. Alexander II passed new laws where serfs were free in the eyes of law. He also created a political council called the Zemstvos, who regulated roads, schools, and regional policies. The army was also improved by promotion by merit and the new organization of essential services. Let's see what Simran's up to. Social behaviors also began changing, such as an increase in literacy, and upper-class women had access to new careers. Russia created an extensive railroad network called the Trans-Siberian Railroad, which connected European Russia and the Pacific. This also allowed for the transportation of grain to Europe to increase, as well as the expansion of Russia's iron and coal sectors. Hey look, it's Simran. Railroads opened up access to a more active and contested Asian role. Count Sergei Witt was the Minister of Finance during this time who modernized the economy, enacted tariffs to protect the Russian industry, improved its banking system, and encouraged factories with advanced technology. By the 1900s, Russia became the top 5 leading producers of oil, textiles, and steel. However, they were the largest in size, not efficiency. Even their agriculture was still inefficient. Alexander II's reforms led to nationalistic beliefs. Factions wanted things to change because families often experienced famine and had to pay redemption payments. The people also wanted freedom in schools, press, and liberal reforms. Intelligentsia were the most radical. However, this led to terrorism. The first modern terrorist attack started with the assassinations and bombings.
Hi, I'm Swin, and today we're going to talk about Japan before and during the Industrial Revolution. Japan experienced a few changes as the shogunate became a less effective way of running the government. During the 19th century, the shogunate was combined with central bureaucracy and semi-feudal alliances. The government faced financial problems, which is an important factor in weakening the shogunate. They had to rely on taxes on agriculture, even though commercialization was growing. Furthermore, as paying samurai continued to be pricey, long budget reforms began that were not all very successful. Japan grows intellectually and culturally as Neo-Confucianism gains popularity. However, Japan becomes more secular and focuses on education. Schools become more common, like Terrakoya, which taught reading, writing, and Confucianism. Some opposed Confucianism, such as traditionalists and reformists, who praised Japanese traditions. The Dutch studies rose as some Dutch works from traders at Nagasaki allowed the exchange of Dutch medicine and anatomy texts which were more superior than the Chinese. Commerce also grew, and soy sauce and silks were managed by some merchants. Japan was forced to give in to Western influences when American Commodore Matthew Perry used military superiority to win 2 ports open for commerce. The bureaucrats were split with a break from isolation. Some were eager for change and helped the Dutch schools expand, while the shogunate depended on Japan's isolation, which led to their appeal to the emperor. After feudalism was abolished, political power became effectively centralized. The samurai were sent to study Europe's economic, political institutions, and technology. Meiji ministers stopped the stipends given to the samurai, which led to the uprisings. However, this was easily controlled by their secure military. Japan began to reshape their political structure by imitating the West, such as the British-style House of Peers and German-inspired general staff. The Diet, which was the new parliament, could pass laws and approve budgets. As a result of the centralized imperial rule, wealthy business people and formal nobles gained power.
Okay, this is boring, so let's move to Simon's house, shall we? Come on, guys, let's go. Off to her living room. She's not there, so it's gonna be fine. Hey there.
I would like to get around to it. Unfortunately, I don't have that chance. I feel like
Oh, no, it's chopped. Okay,
Tomatoes.
I literally live here. There's baby pictures of me.
Really?
That's
What
cute.
is
Okay.
this?
Bye
What
now.
are we gonna do with this?
Japan's modern navy was created after the crisis with the help of Western advisors. Industrialization and economic improvements were made, like the building of railroads and the establishment of guilds. The Ministry of Industry soon became one of the most important government agencies. Zaibatsu, industrial combines, became known after the accumulations of industrial operations. The Japanese heavily relied on Western equipment and raw materials for economic growth. Furthermore, poorly paid women were hired for production. Japan experienced a rapid population growth as a result of the Industrial Revolution. Medicine reduced death rate, and rural masses made the birth rate decline. This caused tension between Japan's social classes. Education became universal.
Why do you need education?
Elite students could even study abroad to study technical subjects. Additionally, education led the Japanese to restrain the use of foreign books on morality, as they still wanted traditional Japanese values to remain. Japan tried to maintain their own traditional ways as much as possible. They preserved their own religions such as Buddhism and Shintoism. The role of women also did not change, as they were appalled by the Western position of women. After the victory of the Sino-Japanese War, Japan attacked Russia with the help of the British. They won with their military superiority. The consequences of Japan's achievements involved crowded cities and resentment of Japanese conservatives. Japan's parliament did not agree with the emperor. These continuous clashes led to the assassination attempts of political leaders. Confusion grew because it could not be determined if Japan was distinctly Western or if they still retained their own identity. But even with these problems, Japan was successful due to their rapid industrialization.
Are you done?
Yeah.
I'm reinforcing the truffle-like quality of this weirdo Mexican fungus.